Alright, so I wanted to show, this is mostly a proof of concept. I was doing a Lightpoacher, Cast on Crit, Purifying Flame, Saboteur build. Had a lot of fun with that one. Kind of capped out upgrades on that. There's other things that could be done, but they're pretty expensive. So I wanted to try something I had an idea for at the start of the league, which was a Berserker Wander with Lightpoacher, using one of the mechanics that makes us not lose spirit charges. So in this case, I'm using the agnostic method with Chaos Spirit. The idea being that if you socket Archmage support into Lightpoacher, it gains a mana cost equal to 5% of unreserved mana. We need to keep at least 20 mana unreserved, which I've got, you just can't really see here. But 20 mana unreserved gives us 1 cost on our Spirit Burst. We use Archmage to constantly drain our mana down to 0 with life tap on everything. We have no health regen because Chaos Spirit disables health regen. Gives us Rage instead, which allows us to have Perma Berserk more often. So, only level 92, just started leveling this character. Obviously it uses Squire, so it's not super cheap to get started. I'm not recommending people play this one necessarily, but it's a proof of concept and it's been going well so far. I don't know, it's probably not going to have a higher cap than stat stacking variants, but I just wanted to show a T16 map that's somewhat juiced with this. So other thing to notice, we're using Dissolution of Flesh, which is why health should stay at below half, along with Petrified Blood for defenses. I'm currently still running a Purity of Elements. That was from when I was running during leveling. I'm going to do Storm Shroud. You notice there one Lightpoacher charge went off. For whatever reason, we gained back some mana for, I think, probably killing a rare with Assassin's Mark. Not a big deal. But otherwise, we're sticking here at 18 spirit charges consistently. You'll see no spirit charges are being lost. So, yeah, as a proof of concept, this is working pretty well. Again, stat stacking is probably going to have a higher cap. And because we have a 6-link chest, you can't do this build reasonably. You may be able to, but it's not going to be nearly as good without a Squire. That was why I didn't do this league start, because, yeah, without a Squire, it's probably not going to feel nearly as good. That said, one of the reasons I went back to it is because Vengeance Cascade is so broken, so that basically doubles all of our damage. So, yeah, everything dies pretty quickly here. I can show the Abyssal Depths at the end. Let me just rush the rest of the map real quick. So we're using Devastator from Wand, Attack, Cluster Jewels, which gives us the explosions. That's what that effect is that you can see. So, really clean. You can stack multiple of those. I've got 2 of them right now. I think just increases the chance that it procs, but yeah, straightforward enough. Yeah, this is a T16 map. Relatively juiced. I'm just using polished scarabs right now, and then just for the heck of it, I'll show this Abyss we got as well, this Lich. So, while I don't necessarily recommend you play this build specifically, because it may just be worse than a stat stacker if you're already investing a lot of currency in it. I still need to play around. I have a lot to do on the tree. But if that is the case, it may not be worth playing this build. You can still use this tech for any number of builds. Obviously, builds that have a ton of physical damage or a ton of ways to get added physical damage are great choices here. Dissolution of Flesh is actually a pretty good defensive layer as well. Currently, I've got Frenzy Charges and Endurance Charges on kill, which is pretty nice. And with the Mortal Call, that helps Endurance Charge generation. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me just show off passive tree a little bit here. So definitely can be optimized right now. Have these clusters. Storm's Hand are nice since we're not converting any damage by default, and Fizz is extra. For Trinity to work, I'm only taking 2 of these. Devastator here for the explosion chance. I've got 2 of those. So here's another Stormhand Devastator. Martial Prowess is just fantastic for us. 20% damage, 6% attack speed, and then accuracy, which we need. And the other one, which is fantastic, is Feed the Fury. Since our life is constantly below max with Petrified Blood and Dissolution of Flesh, we're always leeching as long as we're hitting enemies. So that's 30% attack, 30% damage, and 15% attack speed. 15% attack speed is really good. As well as not just physical attack damage leeches life, but all attack damage leeches life, which helps a lot. Since with Petrified Blood, we don't want to be above half, above low life, but when we are below low life, we want to keep healing, so we need some leech to make that happen. And then Opportunistic Fusillade damage and crit chance, more Martial Prowess. I've got currently all 3 of the clusters here for a way of generating endurance and frenzy charges right now. Because Power Siphon already has Culling Strike, didn't want to take that for marks. Once I get a few more passive points, since I'm only level 92, I'm going to slot in another cluster here, get an extra Abyss Jewel. I've got 18 Abyss Jewels right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I'm just taking, we path by all these life wheels, so just life. Can go more into those or less into those. There's an option to come up here, grab Iron Grip for a little bit, increase damage, potentially Berserking for more attack speed and rage, and then of course Constitution. I just don't know if that's all that worth it. Honestly, at least for base T16 maps, the amount of life I have right now feels like overkill, as long as I'm dodging things. And actually I just switched out of this for single target, but you want this for Burning Ground as well, at least if you're running Exarch, or if you are running Delirium, or doing maps with Burning Ground on it. Burning Ground with Dissolution of Flesh is very painful, as is Desecrated Ground. Just really can't run those maps. But yeah, Arc Ollie's here for the damage over time, which is obviously a problem with Dissolution as well. Lowers the amount of time debuffs are on you. So yeah, could grab 2 more endurance charges here, could drop a couple other things. Need to fill out this cluster jewel as well. So this is very much work in progress, and I don't necessarily recommend it right now, but it is a pretty cool interaction. So this is what my wand looks like right now. So I get faster attacks, 40% more attack damage, and then the increased physical damage on here. The attack speed is part of that. This could be a lot better. Could have an extra suffix with added crit strike support which would free up an extra link. Could have crit chance, attack speed as well. But these are pretty painful to craft. I've been trying to craft some here, and yeah, it's just like this one is looking pretty good, but even though it has extra support elemental damage with attacks, which I'd use instead of the awakened version, then I can always do prefixes can't be changed and reroll suffixes over and over to get one of the faster attacks or crit chance. This could look really good, but the issue is you can see it's 71 to 130 fizz damage, where this I go up to 300. So even with all that, I don't know if it beats out, even if I do that, I don't know if it beats out what I've got right now, because this has the fizz damage. One thing to note as well is that added fire damage is a pretty neat one, since that's obviously pretty useful for the build, since it's extra fizzes fire, which we're already doing, and it comes with that guaranteed fizz damage roll. So that may be easier than getting like a fizz damage roll from, because those are pretty difficult to get. Here we've got Tyrannical, but that's not easy to get. So forcing a mod like this might be better. And you can do fossils with gems. I was doing serrated fossils and jagged fossils, so fizz and attack, less caster. I think those were good. And then you could do the gems as well, but they're expensive, 40, 50 C or something like that per roll. And so, yeah, crafting the wand was kind of a pain. Don't have anything too special on the Crucible tree for the Squire. Here I've got crit chance and life tap, which is obviously just really good. I need life tap somewhere. So right now I'm doing faster proj. For a single target, you can swap that out for barrage. And then, awakened elemental damage, increased crit strikes, crit chance, and I went with Divergent Trinity because it gives extra conversion to random element, which is good for us since we don't convert all of our fizz anyways right now. So, yeah, that's really it. I got my Pierce 2 targets on the boots, which is really important. You need Pierce somewhere, especially for single target for Vengeance Cascade. So I just got normal Tailwind Elusive Pierce on boots. So yeah, it's still a lot of work to do to improve the cluster jewels as well. Yeah, that's it.